In the early 1600s, in a quiet English village, a small group of men, women, and children risked everything. Prison, torture, even death. All for one simple idea: the right to worship God exactly as they believed the Bible taught them. They were not rebels looking for war. They were farmers, craftsmen, and families. They believed the Church of England had become too corrupt and too controlled by the king. This is the true story of the separatists, the people we now call the Pilgrims. And it all starts not in America, but in the fires of persecution in England. Welcome to True American History. This June, we are going deep into the real story of how America began. No sugarcoating, no myths. Today, part 1, England's fires. Why a handful of believers decided they had no choice but to leave everything behind. The Rotten Church. After King Henry VIII broke with Rome in the 1530s, England created its own church, the Church of England. But for many serious Christians, it did not go far enough. It still had bishops chosen by the king, fancy robes, prayer books, and rituals that looked too much like Catholicism. One group, called the Puritans, wanted to purify the church from the inside. A smaller and more radical group said no, it cannot be fixed. We must separate completely. These were the separatists. They met in secret houses and barns. They rejected church hierarchy. They wanted simple worship based only on the Bible, led by the congregation itself. To King James I, this was not just religious disagreement. It was treason. He famously said, "No bishop, no king." If people could challenge the church, they could challenge his power. Separatists faced heavy fines for not attending official services. Many were thrown into prison. Some were executed. William Bradford later wrote, "Seeing themselves thus molested, they resolved to go into the Low Countries, where they heard was freedom of religion for all." The Scrooby Congregation. The heart of this story is in the small village of Scrooby in Nottinghamshire. The local manor house became their secret meeting place. Elder William Brewster, who was the postmaster, hid the meetings. A young teenager named William Bradford joined them. Their pastor was John Robinson. In 1607, they tried to escape from the port of Boston in Lincolnshire. They were betrayed. Some were arrested and put in chains. Finally, in 1608, they succeeded. In small groups, men, women carrying babies, and children slipped away to Holland. Brewster and others had arrest warrants hanging over their heads. Life in Leyden. Holland gave them the religious freedom they had dreamed of. They settled in the university city of Leyden. They could finally worship openly. Life felt peaceful at first, but new problems quickly appeared. Most of them had been farmers. Now they worked long hours in low-paying city jobs like weaving and manual labor. They lived in deep poverty. Their children were learning Dutch, dressing like the Dutch. Some were The Decision. By 1617, they began serious talks about leaving for the New World. They made a difficult partnership with a group of London investors called the Merchant Adventurers. These investors wanted profit. The separatists wanted freedom. The deal was risky. The colonists would work for the investors for many years in return for passage and supplies. Not everyone agreed, but the majority voted to go. In 1620, they left Leyden forever. They sailed to England on a small ship called the Speedwell. They met the larger ship Mayflower in Southampton, and they prepared for the unknown. 102 souls would soon cram onto one leaky wooden ship. Storms, mutiny, and a brutal new world waited across the Atlantic. They left everything behind for their faith. But would they even survive the crossing? That is part 2, Hell on the Atlantic. If you are enjoying this series, drop a like right now. Comment below and tell me what surprised you most in this episode. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss the next chapter of True American History. I will see you in the next one.